Calvin Castine in the backwoods of Moores, halfway between Altona, Moores, and nowhere.
Yes, you found us. And Calvin didn't get lost on the way here this morning.
That's right. I did have some heavy traffic on the road construction on Route 11, but I did manage to get here.
Yes, they're paving.
Right through the heart of downtown Moores as we speak. I'm here on this first day of August 2013 to talk to Kathy Kokes, who I found out a couple of weeks ago has been working on a song that was written by our late good friend. Actually, the idea of the song was written by our late good friend Ronald Roberts, who many of us know from the owner of Riley Ford, or through his other things. He was worked sort of on the town board here in Moores many years. He was active in the Knights of Columbus and a whole lot of other things. And Ron had been suffering for a long time with cancer, and about a little over a year ago he succumbed to that after a long, courageous battle. And he'd put down some words for a song, and he shared them with his friend Gary Sargent. And Gary, at the funeral, played those songs, and I believe you were also providing music at Ron's funeral. Were you? Or?
Yes.
So that was the first time I'd heard. I was aware that Ron had this song idea and so on. That's the first time I'd heard it, and I was very impressed. And is that the first time you'd heard it?
That's the first time, yes. I wasn't aware of it until at the funeral. I was providing the music for the funeral, like you said, and the only thing I knew is they told me there's a guy singing a song at communion meditation time. And I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what the song was or the background, and you and I heard it the same time for the first time.
Yeah. And it's something that was important to Ron, that Gary had done this in a very appropriate time to share it with the public. So a couple of weeks ago, I finally got a hold of Gary, and we sat down and we recorded that song. We've shared it on the hometown cable and on the internet. And he told me at that time that, I can't remember her name, but this lady at Northeastern Clinton in the music department, I said, oh, that must be Kathy Kokes.
I saw that interview, yes. That's who it was.
And Kathy, how long have you been at Northeastern Clinton?
I've been here since 1989.
So you're still a newcomer then?
I am. I'm just.
Now, you married a fellow from Peru.
I did marry a fellow from Peru, yes.
But you're originally from?
I'm originally from Saranac Lake.
So you're not too far away. You're almost a local.
No, almost a local. And I met my husband. We were both at staff at Camp Guggenheim in Saranac Lake. And we both ended up in the Albany area for a while before we were married. And then we got married and wanted to come back home, and we settled here in Moores.
Okay. It's the former Kingsbury farm, you told me?
I live on the former Kingsbury farm, yes.
Yeah, not too far from where the famous hockey player Jesse Boris grew up.
Right across the road, that's right.
Famous NHL player Jesse Boris grew up right across the road from you. And you're in the music department at Northeastern, putting on some very nice concerts over the years.
Thank you.
And when you heard this song, what happened? You decided to do something with it.
Yeah, well, like I said, we were at the funeral, and the first time I had heard it was when Gary sang it, and I didn't know Gary at the time. I had never seen him before, but going back, I had we were friends with Ron and Janet. My husband and I, we golfed together. We did a couple tournaments together. I knew Ron from church. Friends bought our truck at Riley Ford, of course. And we had gotten to know Ron and Janet and the family over the years. I had the honor of teaching his granddaughters, Jenna and Jessica Van Leuven, and they were both in chorus. So when this happened, fast forward to last year during the funeral, I am listening to the song, and now at this point, now I know that Ron had written the lyrics, and as I'm listening to it, I could hear the harmony that I wanted to put with it, this music geek thing, what can I say? But I thought it'd be a really neat thing to put it together in some kind of a choral arrangement and record it and give a copy to Janet and something for the girls to have who are former students of mine, chorus alumni. And it just seemed, I really wanted to do that. So right after the funeral, I went over and introduced myself to Gary and told him my idea, and the project took off from there.
Okay. So what steps did you take? You had to get the words and
Yeah.
You're sticking with the melody that Gary came up with?
What I did is I went to Gary's house last summer, and I brought my recording equipment. Gary doesn't, read or write music. This was all, penciled down on a piece of paper, and so the first thing I did is I recorded Gary singing it, and I brought it back home here and spent some time transcribing it to standard notation, because I knew if I needed other people to sing it, they needed to read the notes.
Right.
So I transcribed the whole song, and then I arranged it for the 3 background parts and the solo part. And that process, that was last summer. And then over the course of the school year, the students and I didn't necessarily have the same schedule this year, so it was kind of hard to get them, but I pulled them into my classroom or here at the house different times to record a soprano part, an alto part, a baritone part, and put it together, and I created the CD for Gary has a copy of this, Janet has a copy of it, and what I have on the CD is Gary singing it. I have a copy, another track of Gary telling the story that you had on Hometown Cable in his words, and then the recording of the song you're going to hear with my arrangement.
Okay, so a lot of effort went into this.
It was a project. I loved doing it. It was something I really wanted to do, and I didn't think of it as an effort thing. It was just, I just had this burning, I had to do this. There was just something that kind of overtook me and said this needed to be done. So
not only is music your livelihood, it's your hobby too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't say it's your life because your son will get upset and your husband.
I know, right. But it's something I do, well, as you know, all summer long, and it's not just the school hours, it's before and after and during the summer, and we have a concert coming up this weekend that you're going to be at, and it's just, it's in my being. What can I say?
Now, so this, what you've got on there is the voices recorded individually. I know when we did stories with Mark Chapman at his studio, he'd have somebody play a guitar, he'd record that.
Right.
And the guy playing the drum, or maybe, I don't know which one he'd do first, but then the guy would have the headphone who was playing the drums, and he'd listen to the guy playing the guitar. And so you've got the similar situation here where each person came in individually, so they didn't sing as a group on your particular recording.
Correct. And the first time we'll be singing it for a group is for you on camera. But I had originally, envisioned, and I still may do this someday, who knows. I had envisioned the high school chorus at NCCS singing this, but due to scheduling conflicts this past school year, I wasn't able to do that because I didn't have the contact with the students I was planning to do. But I'd still, it's still someday, maybe down the future, depending on what happens, I'd like to see a live performance of a chorus doing this, and have you there to record that. But it was a scheduling thing, and so that's what I did. Each voice part on this, including the piano part on this recording, it was the piano track was put down, the solo track was put down. Patricia Coupel came in one day during lunch and did the alto part. Chris, my son, did it here at the house. It's just I couldn't get everybody together all at the same time, so it worked out, though.
Okay, you mentioned 2 of the 3 names of the people sitting here, so somebody's going to feel left out here if they don't mention their name.
Brianna Sterling is going to be on the live on your video of this. I wasn't able to connect with her on the CD, but
okay.
she's going to be here for your performance of it.
Okay, so who will be doing what's called the solo part?
I will.
You will?
Yes.
Oh, this is 4-part harmony.
It is 4. Well, it's 4 parts when you put it all together. It's 3 parts background and then a solo part.
Okay.
It's 3 plus 1.
That's 4.
That's 4.
Okay, Kathy, anything else that we should know before we get this recorded?
I'm just really honored and blessed to be part of this project. Having known Ron, he was just such a fantastic guy, and a lot of people knew him as a businessman, but he was just an upright guy. I have a Ron story. When my son Chris was in middle school, and he wanted to golf, and he wasn't able to get on the course because they wouldn't allow kids on the course before 1 o'clock, and all that. And poor Chris wanted to golf, and Ron overheard this and said, "Hey, come out golfing with me," and that just really impressed me. I mean, here's this guy, middle of the day, wants to spend some time on the golf course just hitting the ball, and he asks this kid to go with him, and that's just the sort of thing he did all the time. He just was a great guy.
Maybe he was looking for a caddy.
I know, right?
He must have misunderstood.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, Ron. Ron was real.
Yeah.
There's that vision of used car salesman, but there aren't too many of those actually around here, and Ron certainly wasn't. He was,
and that's reflected in his
genuine.
family, because we've done business with Joy, and of course Jenna's there now, and we know the family outside of that, but the whole family. It's not that used car salesman thing. They're genuine people, and that whole family reflects that.
Okay, we're going to answer the phone, and
Yeah,
this is called "We Must Together Build America," coming right up here on Hometown Cable.
This is "We Must Together Build America," lyrics by the late Ronald Roberts, and music by Gary Sargent. We must together build America and make her great again. Where is my America? What happened to America? Where is the America that I love? I see pieces of America lying on the ground. Please help us to see the damage and turn this all around. Let's together build America and make her great again. Let's together build America and make her great again. The solution isn't difficult. We must love each sister and brother. We must together build America by loving one another. We must together build America by loving one another. It doesn't need to crumble. We can stop it all. The dream that is America doesn't have to fall. We must feel once more united and destroy the forces that lurk. We must together build America, put our people back to work. We can together build America, put our people back to work. We've God's wonderful gift of love and this simple plan. We'll together build America and make it great again. Let us love each sister and brother. Let's fight for each other. God help us work together.